3. At Austin Friars, 1527. Lizzie is still up when she hears the servants let him in. She comes out with his little dog under her arm, fighting and squealing. Forget where you lived? He sighs. How was Yorkshire? He shrugs. The Cardinal? He nods. Eaten? Yes. Tired? Not really. Drink? Yes. Rhenish? Why not? The paneling has been painted. He walks into the subdued green and golden glow. Gregory, letter? Of sorts. She gives him the letter and the dog while she fetches the wine. She sits down, taking a cup herself. He greets us as if there were only one of us. Bad Latin. Ah, well, she says. So listen, he hopes you are well, hopes I am well, hopes his lovely sisters Anne and little Grace are well, he himself is well. And now, no more for lack of time, your dutiful son, Gregory Cromwell. Dutiful, she says. Just that? It's what they teach them. The dog Bella nibbles his fingertips, her round innocent eyes shining at him like alien moons. Liz looks well, if worn by her long day. Wax tapers stand tall and straight behind her. She's wearing the string of pearls and garnets that he gave her at New Year's. You're sweeter to look at than the Cardinal, he says. That's the smallest compliment a woman ever received. And I've been working on it all the way from Yorkshire, he shakes his head. Ah, well. He holds Bella up in the air. She kicks her legs in glee. How's business? Liz does a bit of silk work. Tags for the seals on documents. Fine net calls for ladies at court. She has 2 girl apprentices in the house and an eye on fashion, but she complains, as always, about the middlemen and the price of thread. We should go to Genoa, he says. I'll teach you to look the suppliers in the eye. I'd like that, but you'll never get away from the Cardinal. He tried to persuade me tonight that I should get to know people in the Queen's household, the Spanish speakers. Oh? I told him my Spanish wasn't so good. Not good, she laughs. You weasel. He doesn't have to know everything I know. I've been visiting in Cheapside, she says. She names one of her old friends, a master jeweler's wife. Would you like the news? A big emerald was ordered and a setting commissioned for a ring, a woman's ring. She shows him the emerald, big as her thumbnail, which arrived after a few anxious weeks, and they were cutting it in Antwerp. Her fingers flick outward. Shattered. So who bears the loss? The cutter says he was swindled and it was a hidden flaw in the base. The importer says, if it was so hidden, how could I be expected to know? The cutter says, so collect damages from your supplier. They'll be at law for years. Can they get another? They're trying. It must be the king, so we think. Nobody else in London would be in the market for a stone of that size. So who's it for, if it isn't for the Queen? The tiny Bella now lies back along his arm, her eyes blinking, her tail gently stirring. He thinks, I shall be curious to see if and when an emerald ring appears. The Cardinal will tell me. The Cardinal says it's all very well, this business of holding the king off and angling after presents. But he will have her in his bed this summer for sure, and by the autumn he'll be tired of her and pension her off. If he doesn't, I will. If Wolsey's going to import a fertile French princess, he doesn't want her first weeks spoiled by scenes of spite with superseded concubines. The king, Wolsey thinks, ought to be more ruthless about his women. Liz waits for a moment till she knows she isn't going to get a hint. Now about Gregory, she says. Some are coming, here or away. Gregory is coming up 13. He's at Cambridge with his tutor. He sent his nephews, his sister Bet's sons, to school with him. It's something he is glad to do for the family. The summer is for their recreation. What would they do in the city? Gregory has little interest in his book so far, though he likes to be told stories, dragon stories. Stories of green people who live in the woods. You can drag him squealing through a passage of Latin if you persuade him that over the page there's a sea serpent or a ghost. He likes to be in the woods and fields, and he likes to hunt. He has plenty of growing to do, and we hope he will grow tall. The king's maternal grandfather, as all old men will tell you, stood 6'4". His father, however, was more the size of Morgan Williams. The king stands 6'2", and the Cardinal can look him in the eye. Henry likes to have about him men like his brother-in-law, Charles Brandon, of a similar impressive height and breadth of padded shoulder. Height is not the fashion in the back alleys, and obviously not in Yorkshire. He smiles. What he says about Gregory is, at least, he isn't like I was when I was his age, and when people say, what were you like? He says, oh, I used to stick knives in people. Gregory would never do that. So he doesn't mind, or minds less than people think, if he doesn't really get to grips with declensions and conjugations. When people tell him what Gregory has failed to do, he says he's busy growing. He understands his need to sleep. He never got much sleep himself, with Walter stamping around, and after he ran away, he was always on the ship or on the road. And then he found himself in an army. The thing people don't understand about an army is its great unpunctuated wastes of inaction. You have to scavenge for food. You are camped out somewhere with a rising water level because your mad Capitan says so. You are shifted abruptly in the middle of the night into some indefensible position, so you never really sleep. Your equipment is defective. The gunners keep causing small unwanted explosions. The crossbowmen are either drunk or praying. The arrows are ordered up but not here yet. And your whole mind is occupied by a seething anxiety that things are going to go badly because Il Principe or whatever little worshipfulness is in charge today is not very good at the basic business of thinking. It didn't take him many winters to get out of fighting and into supply. In Italy, you could always fight in the summer if you felt like it, if you wanted to go out. Asleep? Liz says. No, but dreaming. The Castile soap came. The Castile soap came. And your book from Germany. It was packaged as something else. I almost sent the boy away. In Yorkshire, which smelled of unwashed men, wearing sheepskins and sweating with anger, he had dreams about the Castile soap. Later, she says, so who is the lady? His hand, resting on her familiar but lovely left breast, removes itself in bewilderment. What? Does she think he has taken up with some woman in Yorkshire? He falls onto his back and wonders how to persuade her this is not so. If necessary, he'll take her there, and then she'll see. The Emerald Lady, she says. I only ask because people say the king is wanting to do something very strange, and I can't really believe it. But that is the word in the city. Really? Rumor has advanced in the fortnight while he has been north among the slopeheads. If he tries this, she says, then half the people in the world will be against it. He had only thought, and Wolsey had only thought, that the emperor in Spain would be against it. Only the emperor. He smiles in the dark, hands behind his head. He doesn't say which people, but waits for Liz to tell him. All women, he says, all women everywhere in England, all women who have a daughter but no son, all women who have lost a child, all women who have lost any hope of having a child, all women who are 40. She puts her head on his shoulder, too tired to speak. They lie side by side in sheets of fine linen, under a quilt of yellow Turkey satin. Their bodies breathe out the faint borrowed scent of sun and herbs. In Castilian, he remembers he can insult people. Are you asleep now? No, thank you. Thomas, she says, sounding shocked. It's 3 o'clock. And then it is 6. He dreams that all the women of England are in bed, jostling and pushing him out of it, so he gets up to read his German book before Liz can do anything about it. It's not that she says anything, or only when provoked she says, my prayer book is good reading for me. And indeed, she does read her prayer book, taking it in her hand absently in the middle of the day, but only half stopping what she's doing, interspersing her murmured litany with household instructions. It was a wedding present, a book of hours from her first husband, and he wrote her new married name in it, Elizabeth Williams. Sometimes, feeling jealous, he would like to write other things, contrarian sentiments. He knew Liz's first husband, but that doesn't mean he liked him. He has said, Liz, there's Tyndale's book, his New Testament, and the locked chest there. Read it. Here's the key. She says, you read it to me if you're so keen. And he says, it's in English. Read it for yourself. That's the point, Lizzie. You read it. You'll be surprised what's not in it. He thought this hint would draw her. Seemingly not. He can't imagine himself reading to his household. He's not like Thomas More, some sort of failed priest, a frustrated preacher. He never sees More, a star in another firmament, who acknowledges him with a grim nod, without wanting to ask him, what's wrong with you? Or what's wrong with me? Why does everything you know and everything you've learned confirm you in what you believed before? Whereas in my case, what I grew up with and what I thought I believed is chipped away a little and a little, a fragment and a piece and then a piece more. With every month that passes, the corners are knocked off of the certainties of this world. And the next world too. Show me where it says in the Bible purgatory. Show me where it says relics, monks, nuns. Show me where it says pope. He turns back to his German book. The king, with help from Thomas More, has written a book against Luther, for which the Pope has granted him the title of Defender of the Faith. It's not that he loves Brother Martin himself. He and the Cardinal agree it would be better if Luther had never been born, or better if he had been born more subtle. Still, he keeps up with what's written, with what's smuggled through the channel ports, and the little Anglian inlets, the tidal creeks where a small boat with dubious cargo can be beached and pushed out again by moonlight to sea. He keeps the Cardinal informed so that when More and his clerical friends storm in, breathing hellfire about the newest heresy, the Cardinal can make calming gestures and say, gentlemen, I am already informed. Wolsey will burn books, but not men. He did so only last October at St. Paul's Cross, a holocaust of the English language, and so much rag-rich paper consumed, and so much black printer's ink. The Testament he keeps in the chest is the pirated edition from Antwerp, which is easier to get hold of than the proper German printing. He knows William Tyndale before London got too hot for him. He lodged 6 months with Humphrey Monmouth, the master draper in the city. He is a principled man, a hard man, and Thomas More calls him the Beast. He looks as if he has never laughed in his life, but then what's there to laugh about when you're driven from your native shore? His testament is in octavo, nasty cheap paper. On the title page, where the printer's colophon and address should be, the words, "Printed in Utopia." He hopes Thomas More has seen one of these. He is tempted to show him just to see his face. He closes the new book. It's time to get on with the day. He knows he has not time to put the text into Latin himself, so it can be discreetly circulated. He should ask somebody to do it for him for love or money. It is surprising how much love there is these days between those who read German. By 7, he is shaved, breakfasted, and wrapped beautifully in fresh, unborrowed linen and dark fine wool. Sometimes at this hour he misses Liz's father, that good old man who would always be up early, ready to drop a flat hand on his head and say, "Enjoy your day, Thomas, on my behalf." He had liked old Wickus. He first came to him on a legal matter. In those days he was, 26, 27? Not long back from abroad, prone to start a sentence in one language and finish it in another. Wickus had been shrewd and had made a tidy fortune in the wool trade. He was a Putney man originally, but that wasn't why he employed him. It was because he came recommended and came cheap. At their first conference, as Wickus laid out the papers, he had said, "You're Walter's lad, aren't you? So what happened? Because by God, there was no one rougher than you were when you were a boy." He would have explained if he'd known what sort of explanation Wickus would understand. "I gave up fighting because when I lived in Florence, I looked at frescoes every day." He said, "I found an easier way to be." Latterly, Wickus had grown tired, let the business slide. He was still sending broadcloth to the North German market, when, in his opinion, with wool so long in the fleece these days and good broadcloth hard to weave, he ought to be getting into kerseys, lighter cloth with that, exporting through Antwerp to Italy. Lighter cloth like that, exporting through Antwerp to Italy. But he listened. He was a good listener to the old man's gripes and said, "Things are changing. Let me take you to the cloth fairs this year."